Hey guys, what's up? I'm McLean for live once again, and I'm back for more movie reviews in Friday the 13th series. And today I'm going to review and talk about is Friday the 13th Part 8 Jason Takes Manhattan, which was released on July 28, 1989, which is the 8th installment in the Friday the 13th franchise. And this was actually the last film from Paramount Pictures. After the box office disappointment, Paramount Pictures decided to sell Friday the 13th rights to New Line Cinema. So this is actually the last movie that was released, and it was written and directed by Rob Hedden. I don't know that much about the writer-director, but I do know that he worked on MacGyver, and he wanted to direct this film, so Paramount Pictures hired him to do this film. So he actually kind of changed the story, and he wanted to wrote everything. So sadly, this movie, this movie which have the double feature. Sadly, this movie was a huge disappointment, and this is actually from this movie, the franchise start downhill. So this is actually the second worst movie in the franchise, and it's my least favorite from the franchise. I could call it a time waster, below average film. Rob Hedden, he disowned the film. He also, in many Blu-ray and DVD commentary, he apologized, everyone who disliked and hated this film. Sadly, it's more Jason Takes a Cruise Ship. It's not Jason in Manhattan that much. There's only, after 1 hour when they arrive in New York, only the third act is in New York, and that's because the low budget, because it costs a lot of money filming, in the Times Square and in New York, and Paramount Pictures could not even offer, and they weren't even interested paying that much because it cost a lot of money. So most of the stuff, most of the first 2 acts, they actually more on are actually filmed in New York, in Vancouver, British Columbia. Everything was actually more set to the boats. It was actually filmed in Vancouver. And on the boat is because they ran out of money. They could not afford a lot of money to pay to film scenes in New York. So they only shot a few scenes in New York and in Los Angeles. The whole movie was then shot in cruise ship, in the deck, and in the surface. It was actually shot mostly in Vancouver, British Columbia, because of their money issues. So that's actually, it's more Jason Takes the Cruise Ship, or Jason Takes the Boat. And like I said, many of the people rank this movie low, and I can call it a time waster, or it's just not a film I prefer. Many death scenes are joke. They're completely, they completely ruined the film. But partly I still do like the film, but like I said, this is the least favorite of mine. Lampard Lincoln from this movie, right there, Part 7, which is my favorite movie in the franchise. She wanted to return, but she demanded more salary, and Paramount Pictures could not afford, to pay her the demands, so she declined. But later they actually decided to write a different story, so they excluded Tina out of it. But yeah, they actually, after the box office disappointment, this film, they wanted that Tina returns from a psych ward, and that she's like a leading coach or something. She's like a doctor or something. She also, Lampard Lincoln, she wrote a story of her character, sadly, it never happened. Kevin Blair from Part 7, he wrote a story in which he's the killer, but also did not happen, it was never materialized. So sadly, this movie was the final, from Paramount Pictures. They sold the rights to New Line Cinema, and we can see the back scenes. That's Kelly Hugh. I don't know who this guy is. I didn't research. I don't give a fuck about him. The guy, he tries to escape Jason. He climbs up the ship. I don't know how they did that scene. Like Jason goes after him and throws him, and he gets stabbed. Ken Hodder, he did return. He convinced Paramount Pictures that he should stay on the franchise. They thought he won't be interested to return as Jason, but he did. Sadly, this is not. I don't like his mask. It's like all yellow mask now. It's not even the mask from this movie. I don't like his costume, his outfit. I mean, many fans were upset after his looks. When he takes off the mask, the makeup, the special effects, especially I don't know what the fuck happened, but it was terrible. How Martin Becker really sucked in this movie. They really fucked up Jason's looks. I hated him. I don't know what happened, but it's just my least favorite in the franchise. Now I don't hate the film, so no, this is not a rant. I do like the song in the open scene. So yeah, I do like the song in the open scene, and that's of course Darkest Side of the Night, and it plays at the open scene and plays at the night in the end of the scene. So played by Peter Fridetti. I do like Say This to Me by Neo A4. When the ship starts moving. And the time when Sean Robertson, played by Scott Reeves, he actually, we can hear the song. There was also Fred Molin returns the music composer. This time, no Henry Manfredini. Fred Molin, he worked on this movie, Part 7, shall love this movie to death. Sadly, this movie, they actually should not, I mean, director Rob Hayden, he disowned the film. He apologized to the fans, but it just wasn't the right approach. I think that the Friday the 13th movie should just stay in Crystal Lake where it belongs. But they actually keep changing the story. And New Line Cinema actually butchered the last two movies. Until Freddy vs. Jason, which I love Freddy vs. Jason, which I'll review that movie. But Part 8, is just a timeless time waster, a really lame approach to the story. The story sucked. I didn't give a fuck about anyone in the cast. They hired this girl, Charlene Martin, a known actress from Canada. I think she's a Canadian actress. She played Tamara Mason. She's a bad girl, another bad girl, and this is like the second time they, because, yeah, I hear you, just, you can hear outside, the thunder. Yeah, I hear you, thunder. Even God is pissed on this movie. I'm joking. But yeah, another girl, Susan Jennifer Sullivan, she played Melissa Paur. I can't pronounce her last name, but she's just Melissa in Part 7, this movie. She was the bad girl. Now they put another actress to play a bad girl, Tamara Mason. Now in the shower, the actress refused to vent, and she refused to strip off, to be nude. And I read that the director Rob Hayden, he actually did strip his nude to show her it's not a big deal. And yeah, Charlene Martin, she did strip the nude, but sadly we cannot see her tits. There's nothing in this film. No nudity. Once again, shitty horror. Laughable death scenes, like there was supposed to be when those two kids, were having sex on the boat, and they use like that fucking harpooner. Jason looks a clown in this movie. He looks ridiculous. He fires a harpooner, misses her. Or even the death scenes were not believable enough. They were laughable, like on Crystal Lake. Also, Jason, another goof, Jason cannot swim. They made another shitty version in which Jason swims. Jason cannot swim. It's just, the acting was shit in this movie by everyone. I read that the lead actress, Jensen Daggett, she refused to strip off. I mean, they should fire her and they should find someone else. She refused to strip off. No nudity, so she sucks. Yeah, I read that she sucks. She has a cute ass, but yeah, she sucks. Every in this cast was shitty acting performance. Everybody. I did like Charlene Martin. I didn't like it when she tried to drown and kill her classmate, when she was taking drugs. I mean, everyone from the cast sucked in this movie. Everyone was I disliked everyone. Scott Reeves was actually hired by the last minute when the production started shooting the film. There was this guy, Lee Coleman. He was hired to do that. But Paramount Pictures, they thought that it wasn't the right sexual orientation to the lead actress Remy VIII, so they fired him, and all his scenes are deleted. So they rehired Scott Reeves the last minute. They actually put him in the production. Excuse me. Yeah. So. So the first hour was on the ship, the cruise ship. There were shitty death scenes. JJ gets slashed by a guitar by Jason, which you don't see anything about it. Played by Saffron Henderson. In the shower, Tamara, she gets killed in the shower. The cast, the crew, and the director could see naked, but they did not show her naked. They show only parts of her, so that just kind of sucks. It's kind of disappointing. Yeah, this is a disappointing film. This is actually a disappointing film. Besides the soundtrack, Darkest Side of the Night, there's nothing good about the film. By the third act, when they showed up in New York. I like the scene when there were actually two rapists. This guy tried to rape the lead girl, Remy, and I like that Jason goes and uses that needle and stabs the guy in the neck. He stabs in the back and kills the asshole, the rapist. And the guy starts shooting at him, and Jason goes, and I think he smashes his head. But I like that he goes and stabs the rapist and saves the girl. That's a kind of good scene, but at the same time it's kind of disappointing, because why would Jason save the lead girl? He's supposed to kill all three of them. There was a scene in the dock when Jason climbs on the pier and the dog barks at Jason. Jason kicks the dog. They deleted the scene. Kane Hodder hated the scene. I'm glad they did it, because I love dogs, I love animals, and I'm glad that the scene was cut. Thank God. So that's another positive pro I have to give to them. But yeah, there's a lot of people who rank this film. I think it's a time waster. I still can watch it for the parts of it. I don't hate the film. And the next film I hate, but this movie I'm gonna give, I will give an average score, 2 stars, actually no, 1.5 stars out of 5, 3 stars out of 10 I will give it on IMDb. I think I give it 6, 5 years ago when I bought this Blu-ray set. I think I give it a 6 stars that time, and said it's a guilty pleasure of mine. But I can watch it as a time waster, I can watch this movie as a time waster. Not the best one. I know people hate this film, they bitch on it. I thought that Rob Hayden's vision wasn't the right approach to the series. Just like later 3 movies, that wasn't set on Crystal Lake. Movies should have been set in Crystal Lake. Sadly, John Carl Bickler, he was not interested to be the director on the next installment. But I did like Charlene Martin as Tamara Mason, as a bad girl, as a bitchy girl. I liked her. Kelly Hu as Eva, her best friend, was in this movie. This was actually her film debut from Kelly Hu. The budget cost for this movie, $5 million. Was worldwide, $14 million it made worldwide. And like I said, Paramount Pictures was disappointment. They were disappointed from this film. So So they sold the rights to New Line Cinema. This is the last movie that was distributed and released by Paramount Pictures. But yeah, this movie is the first one that has gag reel. Sadly, this movie, is not that scary. Even though they try to do it, in which Jason takes Manhattan. But like I said, they ran out of the budget, they ran out of the money. They could not afford to shoot more scenes. Paramount could not pay them or refused to pay for the more scenes to be filmed in New York. And I know Rob hadn't had his own idea, his own vision, but sadly it sucked. I like that Kane Hodder returns as Jason. Sadly, his costume, his makeup effect. Jason sucked in this movie. His makeup effects, some of the scenes are goofy. There was this black boxer, VC Dupree. He plays Julius, black boxer. He goes for 1 minute and I think it was 40 seconds that punches Jason. He has later he has bloody his hands are all bloody, and knuckles are all bloody. And he says, "Give us your best shot, motherfucker." And Jason, with one punch, knocks his head out. The head lands on the dumpster, which that's kind of really is a ridiculous scene. But later his head, I don't know how he appears in the police car. So the lead girl, she takes off the car, hits Jason. In part 3, Jason jumped in this movie. She hits Jason. She crashes in the wall because she has hallucinations of Jason. And she the lead girl, she goes and kills her high school teacher in the car. Yeah, she killed. I really have to say this, that Jensen Daggett is the worst lead actor ever. She's the worst final girl, And I know I bitched in part 7 against Jennifer Cook, but I have to say that Jensen Daggett is even worse than Jennifer Cook. I hate Jennifer Cook. Jensen Daggett I hate more because she was paid to do the job and she couldn't even manage it. She even killed an innocent girl, and she showed no remorse. Fuck this movie, Yeah, that's, shitty acting performance, terrible costume, terrible the look for Jason, shitty, lame death scenes, ridiculous death scenes, ridiculous title, Jason Takes Manhattan, New York has a problem. It should be just titled, Jason Takes a Cruise Ship. Because most of the film is on a cruise ship. And it just really is a sad ending to the film, I mean, I love this movie to death. This one, I'm one of the fans that is my least favorite. I dislike the film. The only thing I liked the scene was, part of the like was, like I said, Jason saves the lead girl and kills the rapist because the guy deserves it. That's the only good thing about the film. But everything about the film just sucked, or it's just waste of my time. It's 1 hour 40 minutes, way too much long. Rob hadn't hit his own the film, and I really don't have much to say about the film because I didn't wrote the lead guy. There was this guy who was a deckhand. I did not wrote who the guy was. It was actually based on Crazy Ralph, on the other guy who was in part 3, in which he says this voyage is doomed. You're all doomed. This is actually the title and the inspiration for the first movie. Another shitty stuff was we found out this asshole who played her father. He was he played her Remy's uncle. Charles McCulloch, the guy, he tried to kill her niece, and the guy was such a douchebag. He was all around bitching and yelling at the Remy. I mean that everyone who watches this movie know that this movie sucks. But yeah, I would say it's a time waster for me. A real step back from all 7 movies, and this is actually the second worst Friday the 13th movie so far of all the 12 movies. I'd rather watch this one right there. I love this movie to death. This one is better. This movie sucks. Even the music theme sucks. I like the song. Beside the song, which I like, The Darkest Night. The Darkest Side of the Night. I like the song. It's the only good song. And the one Say This To Me by Neo 4. Another good soundtrack, but the rest just sucks. The acting was shitty. It was lousy. The story, it was ridiculous. The scenes, the goofy, their scenes are all goofy. Especially by the finale, Jason gets, he actually gets, Remy grabs that waste of, the toxic waste, and she throws the toxic waste on Jason. Jason, gets spilled by toxic waste, and he later turns into a little boy. That's kind of sucks. That's terrible, that's just shitty. I really don't have much to say about Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I would defend it and I talk about this movie for an hour. It was an hour long video. Sadly, this one will be ended by 22 minutes because I really don't have much to say about this film. It is a mech entry. From this movie, the series went downhill. This is where where actually became, all the next sequels, they became a joke. They became a laughing stock. And Part 8, they had a great material, but they just ruined it. They just fucked up. Sadly, I have to say that I love Jason Lives. I have to say, even the title shows up Jason Lives in this movie, but this is really the second worst Friday the 13th movie so far. I don't know what else to say. What's your opinion on Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan? Did you like it? Did you hate it? To me, personally, it was a time waster. Below average, corny, shitty film. Still, I don't hate it. I only liked the song and one dead scene. But that really is. Sadly, no, this is not a rant, so I'm not renting this film. But yeah. Take care. I'm out. Peace. See you soon for Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, which will be soon on this channel. I'm out. Peace. Take care. Bye bye.